The room held its breath. The person sat near the edge of the bed, not fully seated, not standing either. The posture felt temporary, as if it might shift the moment something happened. One hand rested open on the thigh. The other stayed closer to the phone. The phone lay where it always did, face up, screen dark, close enough to notice without leaning forward. The person did not look at it right away. The eyes moved elsewhere first, across the blanket, the quiet floor, the small stretch of space where nothing waited. The gaze returned slowly each time, stopping just before the phone came fully into view. The person stayed still long enough for stillness to become a decision. She breathed evenly, almost carefully, the kind of breathing that keeps sound from forming. The light in the room was low and ordinary, soft enough to blur edges, not soft enough to feel comforting. The walls held everything in. Even the silence felt contained. She knew the phone had not moved. She did not need to check. The absence of sound made that clear. Time passed in fragments. Not minutes. Not hours. Just small sensations rising and fading. The faint tension in her shoulders. The dull pressure behind her eyes. The way the bed dipped slightly under her weight and never changed. She finally looked at the phone. Only for a moment. The screen stayed dark. No vibration. No missed signal. Nothing waiting to be uncovered. Her eyes moved away again. Slower this time. As if the act of looking required more effort than before. She pressed her fingers lightly against the mattress. Once. Then stopped. The hand settled back into place. Flat and quiet. As though it had learned not to reach. The phone remained untouched. She did not imagine what might appear on the screen. She did not rehearse words or explanations. She simply stayed where she was, letting the silence stretch without resistance. Something beneath her calm stayed awake. Not restless, just present, waiting without asking for attention. The room did not change. The phone did not ring. Nothing arrived to interrupt the waiting, so she stayed inside it. Her body adjusted in small, almost invisible ways. A shift of weight, a slower breath, the kind of movements made without decision. The bed creaked once, softly, then went quiet again, as if it had learned to cooperate. The phone remained where it was, unlit, unmoved. She did not reach for it. Reaching felt too close to hope, and hope felt louder than the room allowed. Instead, her eyes rested near it, never on it for long. The dark screen reflected a dull shape of the ceiling light. Distorted. Incomplete. Silence settled deeper. She noticed how the quiet changed when it stayed too long. At first, it felt empty. Then it grew heavier, pressing gently against her chest. Not painful, just present, like something that had always been there, but usually stayed hidden. Her breathing slowed further. Each inhale measured, each exhale controlled, as if making noise might shift the balance of something fragile. The phone did not respond. She thought about standing up. The idea passed through her mind without urgency. Standing would mean movement, Movement would suggest direction. She stayed where she was. Time softened. It lost its edges. There were no markers anymore, no sounds, no signals, nothing to divide one moment from the next. Just the quiet and the steady distance between her and the phone. Her hand curled slightly against the mattress. Not enough to grasp, just enough to feel the fabric beneath her fingers. The sensation grounded her, kept her anchored in place. She glanced at the phone again. Still nothing. The silence did not feel threatening. It felt intentional, as though it had chosen this room, this moment, as though it knew she would not fight it. She let her shoulders drop. The tension eased, not because something had changed, but because nothing had. The phone stayed silent. She stayed awake. Waiting continued, not as an action, but as a state. Something shifted, quietly. Not in the room, not on the phone, in the space she had been holding open. She became aware of how long she had been waiting without counting it. The waiting no longer felt temporary. It felt arranged, as if the night had been shaped around it. Her eyes rested on the phone again, longer this time. The dark screen no longer felt empty. It felt complete in its stillness. Nothing missing, nothing delayed, just exactly what it was. She noticed a thought forming and did not stop it. The call was not late. It simply was not coming. The realization did not arrive sharply. There was no drop, no sudden breath pulled in. It spread slowly, like warmth that never quite becomes heat. A quiet understanding settling where expectation had been. Her shoulders tightened, then loosened. The body reacted before the mind tried to explain anything. A small exhale escaped her, barely audible, as if something had finally been set down. She had been listening for the phone with more than her ears. With her posture, with the way she had left space around herself, with the way she had stayed awake. Now that listening changed, the silence did not need to be watched anymore. It had shown itself fully. Her hand moved closer to the phone, stopping just short of touching it. The distance mattered. It always had. Closing it would turn the moment into something else. She left it as it was. The phone did not respond. She noticed how the room felt larger than before. The quiet no longer pressed in. It spread outward instead, filling corners, softening edges. The night felt less like a pause and more like a continuation. Her breathing deepened on its own. The careful control eased. Air moved in and out without instruction. She did not imagine reasons. She did not rehearse outcomes. The moment did not ask for stories. It only asked to be acknowledged. The phone remained dark. She remained still. Waiting did not disappear. It changed shape. It no longer leaned forward. It rested. And in that rest, something underneath finally surfaced. Not an answer, just acceptance, settling into place. The night loosened its hold. She shifted back on the bed, no longer perched at the edge. Her weight settled fully this time, changing the shape of the space around her. The mattress adjusted with a quiet sigh, then stayed still. The phone remained where it had been all along. She did not move it. She did not turn it over. Its place no longer felt provisional. It felt decided. The silence changed again, thinning out, becoming less deliberate. It no longer asked to be noticed. It simply existed, like the dark beyond the window, steady and uninterested. Her eyes closed for a moment. Not to sleep, just to rest from looking. When they opened again, the room felt different. Not brighter, not softer, just less tense. The air moved more freely. Her breathing followed it without effort. She understood something then, without forming words around it. The waiting had ended earlier than she realized. Not when the night grew late. Not when the silence stretched too far. It had ended when she stopped listening for a sound that was never promised. Her hand reached for the blanket instead of the phone, pulling it slightly closer. The motion was unremarkable, almost forgettable. That was the point. The phone stayed silent, and she let it. The dark screen no longer suggested absence. It simply reflected what was already there. Nothing arriving, nothing leaving. Just the moment continuing as it was meant to. She lay back fully now. The posture of waiting dissolved, replaced by something looser, less defined. Her body no longer leaned toward anything. The night did not offer resolution. It did not need to. The phone never rang. And for the first time, she did not stay awake to hear it. There are things no one says out loud. Not because there is nothing to say, but because saying it might change everything. If this story feels familiar, perhaps you understand it better than most.